Alright, full disclosure, I don't think Kong Skull Island was that bad. Might not have been paying the most attention I've ever paid to a film, though. I recall an absence of characters, a native tribe that said nothing and consequently acted exclusively as narrative device, and there was a lot of people on green screens talking to no one. I also don't really like Kong as a monster, or mammals in general. I like Godzilla, though, and his most recent outing was utterly fucking dreadful, so in order to remedy that, I must start here. First of all, we're building a universe, so let's open the film in 1940s Poland. Armed Nazis, is there any other kind, are in the sewer system of Warsaw, specifically a junction. They are seemingly standing guard when all of a sudden cries of Jormungandr, followed by the serpent, come careening round the bend. You know how the Nazis loved Norse mythology, those scamps. The monster does a number on the Nazis until 4 devices in the corners of the room are activated, releasing electric barriers that kill the rest of the soldiers but subdue the serpent. Camera rises out of the manhole to reveal Albert Wesker sliding his glasses on like he's the coolest motherfucker in the campest movie. Just picture Wesker from Resident Evil 5. This is what he's going to look like for the whole movie. Flash forward to the far-flung future of the 70s. Monarch has been established in the interim, and John Goodman has evidence that one of the assets they're hoping to obtain and understand is active on Skellington Island. Satellite imaging that's better than it should be, because the government makes it very clear that, listen, John Goodman, we don't think too much of your thus far 20 years since a good idea department. Here's $1 trillion we managed to find from behind the couch. Go do your not important to us expedition with no less than 1 million helicopters. Cha-ching! Time to assemble the team, you son of a bitch, I'm in. Tom Hiddleston, because we will only employ a tracker with dashing good looks, frankly. Sam Jackson, swarthy and experienced guns. Comes with his own army. Lucy Lawless, sexy cameras, but also biochemist to give her something to do in this film. You want a strong female? You cast a character actor. Frankly, I would only ever cast character actors, because I'm going to need them to act. In fact, never mind, Tom Hiddleston. I'm going to get me some Dietrich Bader. Team assembled! Now let's get on the good ship exposition. I'm going to give all of it to John Goodman because he's going to be the best at it. Island is shaped like a skull and surrounded by a perpetual storm and general machine interference. We shall fly in blind thanks to the leadership of crazy good pilot Sergeant Plot Device. Subsequent aircraft shall follow his lead via the flares and lights. We shall then land, he will be killed, and we shall have no way of escaping the island. On this expedition, we shall be accompanied by expert jungle man, anti-war photographer, and assorted plot fodder. Everybody clear? All right, let's roll. But who is this joining them on the helicopter ride over? It's everybody's favorite Wesker, and he's all awful lot of failure in this helicopter. You couldn't win the war. You couldn't stop the war. And you couldn't cope without the war. Anybody going to notice if you don't return? To which Sam Jackson shall rejoin. Anybody going to notice if you're pushed out of this helicopter? No. Because he doesn't exist. Meanwhile, a bunch of the accompanying soldiers are expressing their tired skepticism with the purpose of this venture. Find and retrieve rare and dangerous creatures. So dumb. What the fuck is that? Well, that's clearly hostile. Fucking kill that thing. Kong, not thrilled with the bouquet of bullets, retaliates in kind. Choppers again swatted out of the air, bullets are spraying in wild attempts to do any damage to anything. Explosions! Less error-accurate music to remind people it's the 70s, more original score. All plot-armored characters have to make a jump from the helicopter amidst the chaos and all successfully touch base, except Wesker, who does not bother abandoning the aircraft, which is then punched out of the sky by Kong. Oh, he's dead forever, definitely. Jackson confronts Goodman. You did not brief us on the fact that some of the creatures we'd be documenting were as big as buildings. Well, heads up! They are. Bader and Lawless regroup and decide to make their way to the extraction point on the other side of the island, whilst Jackson decides that he's gonna murderize Kong. Viet Cong. It was pretty clever. Then we get to see all of the Skull Island inhabitants balancing their ecosystems. You know, killing soldiers. Then you get your obligatory natives encounter, only who should it be that descends on the locals? It's Wesker. Only his interpreter isn't the wonderful John C. Reilly, who was wasted in this film, but a Japanese World War II pilot. Because instead of the big skull crawler being the main antagonist, it's going to be Anguirus, and I want a Japanese guy to announce that. Also, it will demonstrate that Wesker speaks multiple languages, or at least understands them, which is not directly important, it just sort of passively builds his character as this thing that can oppose governments. And if Toho isn't cool with Anguirus appearing in this film, then it's a giant carnivorous elephant shark with 2 massive tentacles on its back. Are we doing monsters or not? Anyway, it's unconscious under the sulfuric rock beds. Beta and Lawless, in the midst of an encounter which will demonstrate they're not the shoot-first kind of combatants, will be subdued and then brought into the locals' village, whereupon Wesker will vouch for his useful subordinates, also acquiring Japanese soldier and his fishing boat for their journey to the opposite side of the island. How the fuck are you alive and that stupidly unergonomic coat in one piece? Find me that ape, Beta. I just need some of its blood. Meanwhile, Jackson shall be leading his troop to the munitions helicopter that was downed in Anguirus territory. And wouldn't you just know it, that's where Beta is taking Wesker, despite the protest of Japanese pilots. They are confronted in the sulfuric basin by a rather large Anguirus-esque creature. And a bunch of other small reptiles too. Whilst everybody's freaking out, trying not to be eaten, Jackson makes it to the downed arsenal. And Wesker slips into the fog. He emerges unscathed after an audible conflict with something massive, now in possession of rather a sizable quantity of blood. He'll drip it into vials provided by Lawless, and she'll catalogue it in her backpack of infinite holding. Next, the confrontation. Jackson is all, I'm gonna kill that monkey, cause I'm sick of losing. And Wesker calmly explains you should not do that because I am not yet prepared enough to deal with the proliferation of its natural prey, or fucking anything else on this island. To which Sam Jackson retorts, I've got enough munitions to kill everything on this island. Everything. And Wesker yields because he's just realized he can get blood from like 2 guys now. So the military does an explosion in order to grasp the attention of Kong, but does so in the sulfuric basin at the advisement of Wesker, which obviously results in the awakening of the carnivorous elephant shark king. It steps on Jackson, on its way to Kong, the actual threat. And then big old monster fight! At first, they just circle each other doing this. Come on, come on. None of the humans get involved, because why the fuck would they? Except that Wesker has a way off the island, which he will not disclose until he's obtained monster blood. So with great trepidation, they pursue the fight on boat. When it finally becomes too tumultuous, i.e. they're coming up on a fast move and heavy punch and throwdown, the occupants turn to Wesker in order to appeal to his reason. But he's not on the boat anymore. Follow the shot to reveal he's on the shore some 3 miles away, having just tossed carnivorous elephant flesh at said vessel. Kersplat! It lands on the deck. What an inexplicably good shot he is. The fight continues, nearly capsizing the utterly useless humans, until carnivorous elephant shark gains the ascendancy. He's got Kong pinned, lording his supremacy as he's about to become the alpha predator, when all of a sudden, what is it we should spy waltzing over the creature's shoulder? Elvis! Oh, wait a minute, no, it's Wesker, my mistake. And in his no longer human-looking hand, he's holding a rather sizable tree trunk which he thrusts into the monster's eye. Kong gains the ascendancy after Wesker Matrix jumps out of there and then breaks Elephant Shark across its knee. Brutal. Wesker uses technology that does not exist to radio for help, and everybody who lives works for Monarch now. Post-credits, and Wesker is being debriefed in one of those interview rooms with perpetually dramatic lighting and enough smoke to kill small mammals. He is bored and answering every inquiry with yes, fine, successful. Is my funding approved? Dramatic pause. It is. Punctuated with a folder landing on the table marked Mecha Initiative. We're doing dumb shit in this franchise, Warner Bros. We're going full Final Wars. You just need to invest in the characters, and everything else will be cool. As ever, I wrote this in a few hours with no edits. It's a first draft because I'm just not investing that much of my time. Cause if I did, I'd get married to them and start making concept art and so on. I don't have the time to love my children. I'm a very busy, unsuccessful content creator. I will probably start accompanying these with animatics because I recognize they're not the easiest thing to follow. Just as soon as I get some damn compatible drivers for my fucking tablet. I'd no fortunate son. Cha-ching! Yeah, it was a skull face. In Treasure Island, it was a skull head in the mountain. And in the original Kong, I'm pretty sure that was the deal as well. This is the universal symbol for does not exist. All atheists do this to each other all the time. It's Wesker. It is not the same day. I don't know if that's the correct use of IE. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. It wasn't supposed to be this video, but it's been a very disorganized week. You ever invested so many hours of your time into a project which then completely failed? And then you had to correct your own fucking sleeping habits by staying awake for 24 hours? Ah! What a stupid week! Anyway, next week it'll be in-gaming this month, which should have been this week, but so many hours gone! Anyway, if you could leave a thumbs up, that'd be definitely appreciated by me and my team of me. And occasionally Al. Al would really like it if you left a thumbs up. Wouldn't you, Al? I'm looking at you right now. You have to give me a response when I look at you. It looks like you're thinking about it.
Oh, dang it.
Yeah, we're done. You can turn it off now.